What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and on this one we have English things the USA should have from Americans living in UK. So excited to dive into this and see what things that the UK got that we should have. Before we dive in, if you guys enjoy the video, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit that join button, get your exclusive benefits, and let's dive in.
Hey everybody, today I want to talk about English things that America definitely needs.
Let's see what we got. Let's see if there's anything new, because I feel like a lot of things I get to see in these videos, I see it a lot, and so let's see if we get some new stuff today.
Now, I had always thought that the National Health Service, or the NHS here in England, was the only thing that was available here in England as far as healthcare. But when I moved here, I noticed that there's actually private healthcare that's offered as well. So you do have the option here to opt into some private care if you would like. In my opinion, I think that's a pretty good system, actually, because you always have the option of going to the NHS if you can't afford the surgery, if you can't afford whatever it is that you need or are looking for. You always have the option, which is starkly different from what you have in America, where you have no options. Really, you don't even really have an option with your health care because it is so expensive that most people's healthcare is tied to their jobs, and their job decides what health provider they're going to go with, and you know what your services are, what your coverages are, and you have to just pick whatever it is. And if insurance premiums go up, they go up, and you have to pay for it, and then you get the bill afterwards. And the only public health programs that are available in America are for extremely poor people, like very, very poor people. Yes, and which is crazy. The elderly. So it is difficult in America to get decent health care. So the hybrid system here in England seems to work pretty well, and I think it's something that would actually work really well in America.
Yeah. I absolutely agree with that 100%. The U.S. has been doing healthcare wrong since the beginning of time, I guess, where these countries have universal healthcare where they take care of their citizens. I think the biggest thing out of that is that the U.K. probably looks at healthcare as a right and not a privilege, where in the U.S. it's looked at as a privilege and not a right. She said, yes, there are public options if you're very, very, very poor. But if you're not at that, if you just a little bit above that, then you have to pay. And that paying good, you know what I'm saying? It's very hard to afford good health care. And like she said, you don't even have an option when you pay, because most people get it through their jobs. Your job decides what provider they want to go with. They decide what hospitals or doctors are in your coverage. So if they're not in your coverage, you can't go to just any doctor. You can't just go to any hospital. So yes, I completely agree. I would love if there was an option for public health care and there was an option for private health care. Do I understand that we would be taxed more? Yes, but that would make health care accessible to so many more people who desperately need it. But I don't think America wants to hear that. I think, like I said, I've said in so many videos, America is all about the almighty dollar. Profit is king here in America. So there's going to be a lot of Americans that fight back against that, because, like I said, you're going to be taxed more, and they don't believe their taxes should go to helping other people. So unfortunately, that's the case. Completely agree with her, though.
Commercials in England are freaking hilarious. I wish I would be able to show you a bunch of them because they always make me laugh, but I'll get copyrighted and all that, and they'll cut out the segment. They're really funny. The English humor is so good at just making fun of themselves and making fun of other people and not taking themselves too seriously overall. And it definitely extends into their commercials and their advertisements. And I haven't seen one yet that has made me like cringe. I did get a set of commercials that I thought were commercials that did make me cringe, but it turns out they were public service announcements. So that's probably why they made me cringe, because I was expecting something like a funny advertisement. But overall, America could definitely take a note from England on this one, because American commercials tend to be either cheesy, cringy, or too serious. It's such a consumeristic culture, and everything is focused on, convincing us to buy something, or to think something, or to, act a certain way. And it's just not fun. It's just not fun, to be fair. And English commercials are really, really fun, and they always make me laugh.
Yeah, I feel like I have gotten a lot of videos about UK ads, and they are absolutely hilarious. I freaking love English humor. It is incredible. But there are really good, like, American commercials out there. I don't want to just, like, down American commercials in general, because there are really good ones. There are really funny ones, like, that are absolutely hilarious. Are there cringy ones? Yes. Are there bad ones? Yes. Do they focus a lot on consumerism? Yes, and yes. But again, I told you, America is all about the almighty dollar, trying to get you to buy. But like I said, there's really good ones as well. But yeah, I mean, who wouldn't love to see some English ads? Like I said, I seen a video, just a compilation of them. Absolutely hilarious. Love them. Let's see what we got.
Now, in England, you can have a gun. You have to have a special license for it. You have to have all kinds of checks before you own a gun, and also while you own the gun, while you're in possession of the gun. And I believe it's only very specific types of firearms. Like, I don't think you can get an automatic weapon or anything like that. From what I understand, it's pretty strict to shotguns and very, very limited handguns. Very starkly different from anyone who's ever been to America. The gun culture in America is rampant, and the laws are definitely catered to those who sell the guns, and not to public safety. It is a very, very touchy talking point in America because of the Second Amendment. But in my opinion, it is something that should be regulated, which is exactly what the Second Amendment says, that it should be a well-regulated militia. And I think that the founding fathers would have never approved of using, like, random people having semi-automatic weapons walking down the street.
It's crazy.
The strict gun laws here in England, I think, are something that America could definitely learn to do better.
Yes, I, again, in complete agreement. Your everyday citizen should not just have a freaking semi-automatic weapon or an automatic weapon. It just shouldn't exist. I don't know why we allow it. I understand America was founded upon guns. The country was founded upon guns. So gun culture here is as big as it's going to get. It's as big as it is anywhere else, if not the biggest in the world. And of course we have so many gun crimes. We have so many gun deaths. But like she said, it's the laws are more based on the sellers of guns than based on public safety, because again, it all ties back. America's about the almighty dollar. The NRA, right? You fund, like, politicians, and you give big handouts to them, right? You donate to them, so and then, like she said, people would freak out, like, if they tried to have their guns regulated. And I'm not saying, like, ban guns, because again, I know that's unrealistic. I would never say, like, ban them, but I completely agree with her. There has to be much stricter regulations. And I understand there's so many responsible gun owners out there, but due to the few that are irresponsible, that are causing a lot of these mass shootings, that are causing a lot of these school shootings, sometimes you have to punish the many due to the few. That's just life. That's happened to most of us in school. That's happened to most of us in life. And due to the few, I think we've got to put stricter regulations on the many. And that's just life. That's just safety. It's sad when you have to worry about sending your kids to school and stressing if they're going to come back home. That should never be a worry. It's honestly sad, and it's really frustrating. But let's continue, see what we got.
A pub scene, and it's not the same as like a local bar scene. It's just more comfortable and casual, and it really is like geared towards family. I've been to a lot of pubs. What can I say? I've been to a lot of pubs here in England.
What can I say?
They're fun, and I've seen lots of families with kids of all ages. Have beer gardens, which is outdoors in the summer. So when you have good weather, you can sit outside. The kids can run around. You can bring dogs and pets. They of course have like specialty nights where they have DJs. Or I saw an Elvis impersonator at a pub once. That was really cool. Some of them are really, really great with farm to table type food, and it's a really like eclectic or specific menu. It's a great place to just chill and have fun, or just to go and have a pint with someone and just relax a little bit. I've also been to pubs that are really, really just casual, and you just walk in with whatever you're wearing, with your tracksuit and sneakers or whatever you're wearing, and you just sit and have a good time. It is really, really just geared towards like everyday people and just relaxing and enjoying company that you're with. And I really think that is something America could use on a bigger scale. There's some areas like that, some bars and pubs like that, but it doesn't have the same kind of feeling. Of course, it also helps that English pubs all have been here for like thousands of years, and it has all of that character and culture kind of built into it, and that history and stuff. But I do enjoy it very much, and I think a lot of fellow Americans would.
Yeah, I guess I don't know too much about the bar scene, the pub scene. I've been to bars, especially when I was in college, but I guess that like kind of family friendly atmosphere. I guess you'd probably go to like a restaurant or something and like order drinks or whatever, if you wanted. But a pub culture, I feel like that would be cool. I can see why a lot of people would want that, and it would feel good. Like, I guess I got, through Only Fools and Horses, I got to watch them going to the pub a lot, and it did look like a really, like, kind of cool atmosphere. And it was kind of different. Like, certain nights it was just a different, or certain episodes it was a different atmosphere, and that was really cool. I don't know much about the British pub scene, but I guess America could have that. The U.S. could have some of that. Short election cycles. Let's see what we got.
It seems like in America, there's always an election going on of some sort.
Yeah.
I don't really understand why it's so complicated and happens so often. There's always campaigns. They basically campaign 24/7 in America.
Non-stop.
And
every day.
Even when you do have big elections like we're having now with the presidential election, they started campaigning for the presidential election like a year ago. And it's just been going on forever and ever and ever, it seems like. And we still have months to go. England, they just had an election. It was called, and 6 weeks later, they had the election. The prime minister took power the next day. Like, there also was no, like, transition period where it's like...
I feel that.
In America, you had a presidential election in November, but they don't actually take office until the end of January. I just think the American election system overall can be revamped by far, but particularly it doesn't need to be as long as it is. I do think people get really bored and tired of the entire freaking thing, and I think that is something in America. If they shortened some of the election cycle, I think that they could probably get a better response out of it.
That's a good point. I kind of agree with her on that point. I would say there's a lot of people who enjoy the entire process of it. But yeah, I'm one of those that she mentioned that does like get bored of it, because it's just kind of the same thing over and over and over again. And it's the same points being made over and over and over again. So basically you're just kind of going to different places inside of the country saying the same thing you said at this place and at this place. And it's such a long process. And like she said, you campaign, you take office end of January, and it feels like you got to start campaigning again in the next year. Like, you got to start getting ready for the next election. It's like you still got a year or two left on your presidency. You still got to start campaigning, and there's always an election happening, whether it be the presidency, whether it be government, whether it be local elections, whether there's always election happening, there's always a campaign happening, there's always something happening. Like, She's not wrong about that at all. I'm loving this video. Hey, she's spot on with these food fairs. What we got?
Now, we do have these in America. It's not like they're non-existent or anything like that. But they're typically tied to like a fair or like rides and things like that. In England, they're primarily focused on food and local crafts and things like and those types of things. And I really, really enjoy them. I think it's really fun. And they just do them a lot more often as well.
Okay.
Here, I don't know if it's just like a regional thing or what here in England, but it just seems to happen almost every weekend. There's a food fair or a food festival somewhere in a local village or town. They're always having these kind of things. And it's all primarily, from what I've experienced anyway, it's like local farmers, local small business owners, and local craftsmen, you know, and it's just really, really fun to see things, just to see humanity being inventive and just to taste things that are really, really fresh. A recipe that's put together in a unique way or a unique spin on a current dish that you might really enjoy. I enjoy it very much. I like it a lot. And especially when it's a nice day out and you can be outside all day and you can just meet local, you know, butchers and bakers and candlestick makers.
I really like that because, like, I just moved to Georgia recently and got to go to my, I guess I would say, first food fair, where it was just a fair designed basically around food. You got so many different small businesses, so many people making all this kinds of food, and then I got to try food from like 5 or 6 different like booths or food trucks or tables, and it was just really cool. I absolutely enjoyed myself. When I walked out, my stomach was dead full. I was hurting, but it was very enjoyable food. I had a great time at it. But yeah, that was my first food ever. 29 years old, been to one food fair. Don't get me wrong, I know there is more food fairs happening in the U.S. I don't think they're happening as often as she says, like in the U.K., like every weekend or anything. But we do have food fairs here, probably just not as often. But yeah, I agree. Like, more food fairs, I'm never going to be against more food fairs. Love them.
I'm not very well versed on the public transit system here and its laws. I know it used to be run by the government, and I believe now it's privatized. But there is a mandate that that it has to be offered because they recognize that the country isn't set up for driving everywhere, right? And that comes from, you know, the age of the country, obviously.
Exactly.
And I think that really connects the country in a way that America is just disconnected. And I personally take advantage of it very much. I love the public transit system here in England. I know a lot of people said it's gone downhill, but obviously I don't have a reference to that. So for me, it works great. I love that I can walk to the train or the bus station and get just about anywhere I have to go. It's amazing. And I do think that America should have a system like that, and I know we do in certain cities and stuff like that, but it's not widespread, it's not national, and there's definitely no kind of regulation by even local governments, let alone the federal government, saying that this should be offered. So a lot of people end up being disconnected, and it's a disjointed kind of configuration in America a lot. And I think that would benefit America if we had a little bit more access to public transportation, and it was easier for us to get to and easier for us to obtain.
Yeah, I think it would be cool, and I think it would help a lot of people. But I just also feel like America was just really like so built for cars. I'm not saying that's a great thing, but I'm saying it'd be harder to implement public transport like nationwide here. Because the country is just so built for cars, and it may be, I guess, kind of disconnected in a way, but I think me personally would prefer like driving in my car, because I'm someone who likes to get in the car, jam out, vibe out, and kind of just be to myself. So I guess I might, in a sense, like to be disconnected a tad bit. But yeah, public transport, if I'm not thinking about me, if I'm thinking about those who do struggle to get around, those who have to walk everywhere, those who have to bike everywhere, and those I would say, yeah, public transport would definitely help. Like I said, I don't know how to implement it here in America. That's a place built primarily for cars. Um, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting. I feel like it's better in Europe because Europe has been around longer. Like all these countries have been around longer, and so they weren't primarily built for cars, and so public transport was easier to implement in all of these countries. Whereas here, it's harder to implement. Okay. Oh, a better sense of humor. I might agree with this one too.
I'm not going to say, I'm not hating on all of my fellow Americans. Y'all are very funny in a lot of ways, okay?
Okay.
But the British sense of humor is just much more relaxed and calm. Mm-hmm. And it's more focused on making fun of yourself, making fun of other people, as I said earlier in reference to the commercials, and just making fun of life and trying to just have a laugh.
Yeah.
It's very representative of the English culture, in my opinion, and based on my experience here. I very much enjoy it. I definitely think that
it's funny
because the British humor is so much more enjoyable and so much more chill, that it's actually chilled me out because I laugh a lot more, and therefore like my stress relief is a lot better, and I'm not as tense all the time, and I can find the humor in a lot of things that I might not have thought of before because I was so tense and because I was so focused on anything else. So I do really enjoy the British sense of humor. They're really funny. They like to dress up. They like to make fun of the past and even their own past and their own stereotypes.
Yeah.
They like to use a lot of intelligence and wordplay in their comedy. And I think that it just gives a real, just robust, rounded approach to life.
I feel that.
If Americans could adopt a little bit more of the English sense of humor, I think it would go a long way.
Yeah, I think sense of humor. Well, I think comedy wise, I love both like American and British comedy. Like it's both are really amazing. Both keep me laughing to no end. But I think where I agree with her in the British sense of humor is in the audience, the people that consume the humor. I think here in America we're just so much more sensitive than the Brits. Where Brits comedian can get up there and they can make fun of anyone. They can make fun of themselves. They can do so much. Whereas here in America, I feel like a lot of the times, like people will be arguing over what someone said, be like, "Well, that's offensive. I'm offended. I'm offended. and people are butthurt, and it's like you either turned on this comedy clip to laugh, or you came to this show to laugh. So why are you being offended? So I feel like you really have to limit more so what you say here than in the UK. From what I've seen in both comedies, you're not allowed to say as much here, or you got that fear of being canceled, or it's just crazy. So sense of humor wise, I would say the Brits probably have a stronger sense of humor, as in they're not going to be as sensitive. They're not going to be upset by a joke. Maybe some are, but yeah, I'm one who doesn't get upset about jokes and doesn't get too sensitive. I'll laugh. I'll make fun of myself, and I'll laugh as someone making fun of me. I don't care. So I do agree with her in that sense. She brought up really good points, and I really enjoyed this video. Kind of get to talking about it. Shout out her. That's all we have. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out the next one. See you guys next time.